What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 6 of In the Moment. I want to take a moment and let you know that I'm so stoked for all of you that have been checking out this material, watching the videos, and subscribing. We've seen a huge boom in the YouTube, and thank you. For this episode, I'm joined here by Darren. Darren's actually a chiropractor here in the office. He has a phenomenal testimonial, which we'll get to here at the end of the video. But the basis of it is he entered chiropractic school with a huge short leg discrepancy, which we're actually going to show you when you have him lay face down. But before we get there, let's watch him walk. So go ahead and walk. So Darren has a really short leg on the right side, and you'll even see how when he takes that right step, there's a little bit of a lean and a bounce towards the right side. It's what, 3/4 of an inch, an inch? About a full inch. Go ahead and face away from us. And just so you can see here, this is pretty important. Even right now, you see that little bit of lean. And then if you even go to lift his shirt up, and you'll see that it actually created a slightly scoliotic curve. So he has a convexity that goes to the right side. And when he entered school, that was actually causing him a lot of issues. Now go ahead and go face down. Now, he started school and he had a chiropractic intern. It was Dr. Josh, right? Dr. Josh had been trained with Kairos training culture. And I do want to bring this up real quick. Actually, before I check him, I want to show you this. This is a Biotenesegity model. If you check out one of the other videos on my YouTube, I have a whole talk about Biotenesegity and chiropractic. But really, this is a tensegrity structure, and when you apply it to the human being, then you call it biotenesegity. What is a principle of tensegrity? Tensegrity means that, it means tension integrity. It was first coined by Buckminster Fuller, I believe back in the 70s. But a principle of a tensegrity structure is that if you put an impulse into one area, the whole structure will deform. It usually consists of two main components, some type of band and some type of strut, but usually they're free-floating omnidirectional structures. Now, this concept applies really well to the human body. And let me tell you what I mean, because a lot of times, even a phrase in chiropractic that was used quite a bit is that structure dictates function. And to a certain degree, but I've also seen it the other way, where function, meaning what you do from a day-to-day within your life, can also dictate structure. And the reason I bring this up is because we've never approached Darren's spine from a means of needing to fix the convexity, from a means of needing to completely balance the legs, yet he has regained his function. Why? Because ultimately, whenever we adjust him, we're adjusting the whole system, try to bring as much ease as possible into the entire frame and really into the entire being. Now, Kyle, if you come over here, you can see this short leg discrepancy, and he actually even has a little bit of that eversion of the ankle. And so, like I said, just about a full inch. Now, something that he has done as a strategy is he's gone ahead and started to put a bigger sole on the shoe that he wears most often. And so we can actually show that when we finish up here too. But bigger than this is how is this changing his function? So we've seen that right side. So there's a chance that he might be loading the right hip or the right SI joint quite a bit more, or he might, like you said, we've already seen the convexity, but I want to check what do I feel in the system. And so when I'm checking his system, I do feel like there's a little bit more Achilles tension. I often find that with a PI ilium, posterior rotated ilium, and it is there. I could check the direction of it. It's a little bit more of an IN, so it's internally rotated ilium on the sacrum, so we will be making an adjustment to that. And then Darren often gets a lot of buildup at his T12 as well. And again, I'm not just going to high spots. Ultimately, we want to see is that if I make an adjustment here, how does that affect this? Or if I make an adjustment here, how does that affect this? Because everything is integrated and integral to one another, meaning that everything is a reflection of the entire system. And so even if I go to adjust here, is that going to change his hip? And actually, I do feel that when I make a compression and connection at his T11, T12, that there is part of the fascia, especially the superficial layer of fascia, that is wrapping to the top of his ilium. Meaning that if I do this correctly with the correct setup, that he should feel a slight release even at the top of the ilium. So we're going to make a connection. We have that in mind right there. Good. And so released at T11, but also got a little bit of a fascial discharge on the ilium on that right side. So now he has actually a little bit less Achilles tension on that right side. And we're going to go ahead and adjust, still fixation on the ilium going internal to external. So we're going to mainly do that adjustment here. So go ahead and go this side up for me, Darren. Good. And so one of the principles of the side posture that we like to use is to try to keep the spine as neutral as possible. We don't torque. When you create torque, what happens is you get the superficial thoracolumbar fascia to engage, and that can also go up the rest of the system, which can actually block the depth of an adjustment. Versus if you start at neutral, and then you make an initial compression in at neutral, then I can get better sync on the joint, and then I actually roll the body as an entire group. So still not creating any torque besides the compression I have on the ilium, and then rolling the body as a group, then right there. Good. And go the other way for me. So I'm just going to check the system as he goes the other way, but that was an internal to external ilium on the sacrum. And it's going to check lumbars. When we had the release of the T12, it stayed fairly local, got a little bit to travel, but I also want to check it's a little bit lower. So now this little motion I'm doing with my knee almost looks like a little Elvis Presley hip sway. I'm checking the motion of that lumbar as I go my way down. And so really it's the L1 right there. It finds this little fixation point. So now I'll let the whole system drop. I got it engaged here. There we go. Go on your stomach. So recheck the system again. So he does have a little bit at the calcaneus here, probably from, again, you know, he's got a short leg on that side, so he's going to strain the foot differently. So we're actually doing a calcaneal adjustment right on the medial border. Going to lift it off this way. There it is. Whew. So now, when I'm checking the heels, watch his occiput start to go slightly back into extension. And what I'm looking for is equal travel of the whole tensegrity system up to the occiput. So when you get really good at this, you can start checking full spine through the heels. Lay on your back. So as soon as I go to palpate, initially got to clear the system, palpate from a space of being blank, not bringing our own thoughts into the equation, but what is the system trying to tell me? I'm getting that there's a little bit of upper trap swelling, and then I want to see, does that upper trap go to occiput or does it stay down low? Because the upper trapezius will also enter to the base of the skull, but I don't have much tension at the base of the skull. It stays local. And so now I'm saying, okay, well, is that inflamed and swollen and engaged down lower because there's something going on at the C7, T1 facet? And sure enough, right here, there's a fixation point right there. So we're going to clear mainly just through the left side. So we're going to clear here, and it's going to come up that way. So that was just the C7 on T1 on the left side. And then I am feeling like there's a need for some more depth through the cord layer as we move up the neck, C3, C4. So now this adjustment will carry through both ways. So I'll adjust through this first facet, and by turning over on the adjustment, it will go through the right side facet of C4 on C5, and then through the left side facet on C4, C5. So here. So again, if you replay those, you'll be able to see the difference between the two. One came up, one came through this way, one cleared two facets, one cleared facet just on one side. Go ahead and come on up, Darren. So you tell the good people, what has changed since getting chiropractic care with your function? Like, where were you at before and where are you at now?
Well, back before I started chiropractic school, I would have back pain within 5 or 10 minutes of sitting down. First of all, I don't sit down that much longer anyway, but the back pain is completely gone. I was being limited in how much I could go running, how much I could do weightlifting, and really any type of physical activity because there was so much compression there in the TL junction, the thoracolumbar junction. in addition, because that's right where the curve is as well. And so there was a lot of QL, quadratus lumborum compression as well. So over time, as the adjustments have taken place, there's been, I've probably grown a little bit, I like to think at least. And so it's helped a lot over time.
That's big, and the bigness of that is, if you were to take x-rays of him currently, it may not look that different. And so that's big for a lot of people to know, that it doesn't really matter what your x-rays look like or what the structure is saying, and that you may have some type of scoliotic curve, that there's still a potential to regain function. Because what we're looking for is the function actually within the joints and within the nerve system, and really the totality of the system, much bigger than we're looking at this looks a certain way, you have a certain level of degeneration, blah, 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 blah. Because there's a lot more that goes into an expression of life and health and function, more than the structure. And so if you're one of those people out there that thinks, oh, there's no hope for me, there's nothing left, it may not be the case. You might just need to find somebody that can serve you at the highest level. And if you are one of those people and you want help finding somebody, please leave a comment on this video. Again, thank you for joining us. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Like it, love it, share it, and we'll see you next time.